Hi.
And welcome.
We're still alive.
I was gonna do my thing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. And welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time normally, but right now it's about the Hunger Games series. Gus is a first-time reader of the Hunger Games, and I have read every single book except for the prequel.
That's Allie, and I'm the aforementioned Gus. And
right.
And we're here.
I'm supposed to introduce our names as well.
Well, you said the names.
I was close. I'm getting better every time.
You're crushing it. I'm very proud of you.
And also Peeta is here. Peeta is our big sleepy rescue pit bull.
It's true. This podcast only contains spoilers for the Hunger Games through what I've already read. And today that's everything up to the end of part 2 of the first book, which is sad.
It's sad as hell.
Sad.
It is sad as hell.
I was wrong, but I'm sad about it, but not for the reasons you'd think.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping that, the reason I was forwarding my Rue is a monster theory so much is because I was like, they're not just going to introduce a cute girl and then brutally kill her. They did. They did.
They did that.
She did.
Suzanne was like, you're going to cry.
Suze was like, let's radicalize Katniss a little bit more.
Oh, and believe me, it gets worse.
I'm sure it does.
It gets so much worse. Gus, Rue did not become a Flayer child.
Unfortunately, she did not.
No, unfortunately, she died horribly and tragically.
Thresh did literally nothing.
Thresh did literally nothing?
Has not been connected to her at all.
No. Yeah, that's true.
Has not appeared at all. I was thinking back on some things I theorized last week. I said, wouldn't it be interesting if they were siblings? And that was because I was like, wouldn't it be cool if, the whole thing was that Rue teams up with the gullible people and then Thresh takes him out.
So do you think that there's a world in which siblings might have at some point played the Hunger Games?
You ask me this every time siblings come up, and you do it in a way that makes me feel like you're hinting at something. And I'm going to say at some point there may have been, and there could be in the future.
Perhaps.
It's entirely possible.
Perhaps. You'll have to read and find out.
Yeah, I will.
Or maybe I'm leading you on a wild goose chase.
That's also possible. That is part 3.
Oops.
That is not where we are. But I can tell you where we left off.
Please.
Where did we leave off? Out.
Yes, because of the tracker jacker sting.
Because of the horrible, horrible, horrible bugs.
And once again, Suze took a big shot after she wrote that chapter because it said, then the ants bore into my eyes and I black out.
I don't like it.
And Suze took a shot once again. Of course, we're not saying, Gus, that when you accomplish something, you should then immediately drink heavily and irresponsibly. I was just looking for something hyperbolic for us to say.
I love it.
Yes. So she took a shot. We could also say she fired a gun in the air.
I don't want to do that either. It's a terrible thing.
There's a point of pride where you're like, I gotta do something fucking crazy because I'm amazing.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would be your thing? What's your I gotta do something fucking crazy because I'm amazing? Play a rousing game of hands with the dog?
Yeah. Pop off and start rolling around on the floor uncontrollably.
See, but it's gotta be something quick and fast.
I would just do a little fist bump to myself. Be like, that was great. I'm not very exciting. Let's just keep going here. Let's just keep her rolling.
So we're gonna stick with she took a shot.
All right, yeah.
Or shot a gun in the air.
No, you should. That's a horrible thing to do. Never do that.
Never do that.
Never do that.
She lit off a firewood.
That's fine.
She threw a firecracker into the shed.
There you go.
Don't
do that either.
She just has 25. No, when you write something fucking awesome, you don't do anything responsible.
Sure.
Also, I don't do any of these things.
I know.
But you feel like you could do something absolutely batshit.
Yeah.
Anyway. I enter a nightmare.
Do you want to hear my notes?
No! Please.
So I have some notes for chapters 15, 16, and 17, and then I stopped because it got sad.
Mm-hmm. Now you understand that sometimes you just have to stop and just, sit with it.
Chapter 15. Oh, Gale and Peeta occupy the same space in Katniss's mind, huh? Team Strong Independent Woman is not doing so hot, and I'm quaking.
Yeah, well, part of that I feel like is just like this was what the 2010s.
No, I know. I'm not
No,
upset
this is like
about it.
no, I know, but this was like the 2010s, and they were like, she has to have a love interest because women.
It makes perfect sense. Go watch Survivor Micronesia, and I don't remember what that was in context for. Oh, some people pointed out, they were like, I have no fucking... Why are you looking for Korean pop stars in the forest on Survivor? What is going on?
Why are you looking for
Idols. And I realized that we did not define everything, so we should probably take a very quick second to do a quick and dirty rundown on a couple of things about CBS reality television, because, like it or not, it's extremely relevant to the discussion.
It's true.
So, like, if you don't give a shit about this, you can skip probably, like, 2 minutes.
But it will clarify some things about our, like, shared vocabulary.
So, Survivor being the game where a bunch of people get dropped onto an island, usually they start divided into 2 tribes of like 8 to 12 people. Mm-hmm. The 2 different teams will compete against one another, and whichever one loses has to vote somebody out.
Yep.
Eventually, the 2 teams merge, and then they start voting people out. The competitions are individual competitions, and one person at a time will win immunity, is what it's called. And then of all the other people, one of them gets voted out every episode, more or less. There's a thing called a hidden immunity idol, which is usually shortened to idol, which is like a little, thing that is hidden in the woods. Sometimes it's a necklace. Sometimes it's like a little carved metal thing. And they hide them.
And then sometimes people will make fake ones for people to find. The best one was someone just carved a smiley face into a stick, and this idiot guy thought that was it. And then he shows it to this other contestant named Eliza, who is smarter than Jason, the idiot who found the stick. And she goes, that's not an idol. That's a fucking stick. And that was a very famous moment on Survivor.
So when we say looking for idols, that's what we're talking about. If you have an idol, you keep it a secret if you know what you're doing. And then when you go to the vote out thing, which is called Tribal Council, everybody votes in secret. And then the host asks the players if anybody wants to play a hidden immunity idol. And if you play a hidden immunity idol, whoever you play it for, which is usually yourself, any votes that were cast for that person don't count.
Yeah.
So...
And it makes for some interesting
It's
drama.
always fun. Sometimes people misplay them, sometimes people don't.
And when they misplay them, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. So, like, if the votes were 9 votes for Gus, 2 votes for Allie, but I played an idol for myself, Allie would go home with 2 votes.
Yeah.
So that's Survivor. The other one we talk about is Big Brother. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of the mechanics of Big Brother because
that's a lot.
Way too complicated. But the only thing that you have to know in relation to the Hunger Games is that it takes place over the course of 3 months, I think, and it is live streamed. It's broadcast live.
Yes, so you can theoretically watch it live as it's happening, or you can watch the episode kind of recap of everything that happened during the week.
The game mechanics for that one are way more complicated, but it follows a similar format in that every week someone gets kicked out. Oh, the other thing about Survivor is everybody who gets voted off after the 2 teams merge, pretty much everybody who gets voted out after that point goes on to a jury. And at the end of the game, there are 2 or 3 people left, and the jury votes for who wins.
You know what was a wild clip of Big Brother that I saw recently? It was Big Brother Canada. They were in the house like when COVID broke out, and they were just getting updates from like the God mic. Yeah. Throughout, for those of you who are not involved in like theater or entertainment, kind of the microphone that goes over the whole thing that someone can get on.
The loudspeaker,
right? From the booth. It's called the God mic because you don't see the person that's talking, you just hear them. Yeah. So they would get updates on the God mic every...
whenever there was something significant going on.
Whenever there was something significant, like updates on their families and stuff, which is friggin' crazy. And then eventually they're like, game's over. My favorite though was, they were like updating them, and some of the men in the room were like, are sports still happening?
That was kind of funny.
And somebody was like, so they're sharing with them like all this other shit, but the guys care about the sports. And someone it's like the Waffle House thing. If the Waffle House is still open,
that's a real thing. The Waffle House Index?
Yes. If the Waffle Houses are closed, you should panic in America.
That is an actual metric.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Waffle House will stay open in like a frickin' hurricane.
Yeah.
So if the Waffle Houses are closed, it's a real crisis in America.
Yeah. But the only other thing about Big Brother that is important to know in relation to the Hunger Games is that sometimes they allow the viewers to vote advantages to the players.
Yes.
So that makes me think of
And
sponsorships.
sometimes they airdrop them.
They do sometimes airdrop them.
Yeah,
That does
they'll
happen.
literally airdrop them
Yeah.
to the player in the backyard.
So that's sponsorship kind of related to that a little bit, and like, you know, playing up your persona for the cameras.
I'm just imagining a Hunger Games wall yeller.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so a wall yeller in Big Brother is basically the Big Brother house is essentially a sound stage in Hollywood,
Yeah.
right? And so people know where that sound stage is. And like theoretically the game is going on, but people from the outside will sometimes try to like
Influence
go
the game.
and like scream outside of the backyard because the players are allowed to go outside because no one's a monster.
Yeah.
And so they'll go outside and sometimes there will be a wall yeller there like screaming like, don't trust Christy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all the players will have to go back inside and pretend they didn't hear that.
Yeah. It's very silly.
But they make it kind of hard to hear, like beyond the.
Yeah.
Like I think they've got to put like a sound machine or something there to
Probably.
make it hard to hear.
So that's.
And one time somebody tried to hire a skywriter
I heard about that one.
to try and influence how things were going in the house.
So that's CBS reality shows in
In a
10
nutshell.
seconds or less. If you want to know more, you should watch them. They're fun. And then I wrote, for some reason, Gale and Peeta do not coexist well together in my thoughts. I wonder why.
Why do you think?
Because they're both pretty boys.
They're both pretty boys?
They're both pretty boys, and
Different
it's going
pretty.
that direction.
Different pretty. One of them's tall, dark, and handsome, and one of them's
Short, squat, and handsome. He's not squat. He's
short bread boy.
Short blonde king.
Short, hot bread boy.
Shit, yeah, Katniss, you're getting
Pillsbury
it.
Doughboy, but make him hot.
You can team up with Rue the Flayer. Flay those motherfuckers. And then I wrote, hey, Mitch, I spent $9 million on ointment for you to team up with the waif.
You know he's thinking that, though. You know he's like, fuck Katniss.
Uh-huh. Quote, she reminds me of Prim. Oh, God. Oh, no. Rip Rue. She has
Yeah.
night vision goggles.
That's pretty rad.
Oh, Peeta dipped from the careers. And then I wrote, rating time.
It is rating time.
All right. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
wild.
I enter a nightmare from which I wake repeatedly only to find a greater terror awaiting me.
Awful.
All the things I dread most, all the things I dread for others manifest in such vivid detail I can't help but believe they're real. Each time I wake, I think, at last this is over.
No, it's not.
But it isn't. It's only the beginning of a new chapter of torture. How many ways do I watch Prim die, relive my father's last moments, feel my own body ripped apart? This is the nature of the Tracker Jacker venom, so carefully created to target the place where fear lives in your brain.
Awful.
That sucks.
Awful.
That sucks. So she comes to. She's in a lot of pain. As someone who's been stung by a bee, I understand.
Yes.
It's the same.
I was riding a bike once, and I was wearing kind of a baggy shirt, and a wasp flew down my shirt, stung me 3 times, and then flew out the bottom of my shirt.
What the fuck?
It was ridiculous.
What the fuck?
I know. I was like, what?
Wasps
What did
have
I
an
do to
attitude.
you?
Wasps are the dickiest of
Wasps
the
suck.
like. What is that group called?
I don't know.
I think it starts with an H.
Hey, fucking hate these guys.
He-Man woman haters.
Holy shit.
I am so afraid of all things those, though. I think it's called like Melissophobia or something like that.
That sounds
when
right.
you are
Yeah,
afraid
yeah.
of bees.
Fear of bees,
I'm
yeah.
very afraid of bees. Bees, wasps, hornets, yellow jackets,
Galactica? Yeah.
bees, bears. Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, it's beats, not bees.
No, it's not bees.
Well, I
Idiot.
never watched
No,
The
I'm just
Office.
kidding.
I tried.
You would like it though. That's what's so weird to me about that. You would eventually
I watched
grow
3 seasons of it, and I'm just...
Watch 3 seasons.
I watched 3 seasons. And I was
And
just
not
like,
actively.
Yeah, actively. I watched it and I was
actively
like,
watched
I understand
3
why.
seasons?
I understand why it's important. I understand why it was a seminal show because it informed like 2/3 of the comedy that came since.
Yeah.
That's true. It's absolutely enormously influential.
Here's looking at you, Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, like
Great show.
yeah, Abbott Elementary, Parks and Rec, all of the other Mike Shore shows, half of the other comedies in existence. You know, yeah, absolutely. I just didn't really like The Office very much. I thought it was very mean-spirited in a lot of ways. The early seasons, anyway. I hear it gets different.
It does get different.
Yeah.
I will say that. Well, and then it doesn't because Scott's Tots is literally
That's what I've heard.
traumatizing. It is literally traumatizing.
The first, 3 seasons of The Office felt to me like, let's just watch everyone be uncomfortable at how Michael Scott is acting.
Yeah.
And then nothing really comes of it. And then we go to the next episode. And then we just kind of rinse and repeat. And I was like, yeah, it's funny, but it's just kind of uncomfortable.
Did we get to the dinner party episode?
Yes.
It's the most uncomfortable episode.
Yes.
Until Scott's Tots.
So you're not doing a good job of selling me on The Office.
You have to watch Scott's Tots to understand the mutual trauma that all of us have gone through.
I don't want to. Everything I've heard about it is like people saying I literally can't watch it. I know what happens.
I mean, it's funny. It is funny, but I literally cannot watch it because it is so traumatizing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've done several rewatches of The Office, and I have to always stop at Scott's Tots.
That's what I've heard.
I don't think I've seen an episode. I cannot recall an episode beyond Scott's Tots. I stop at Scott's Tots every time. So anyway, speaking of other things that are literally traumatizing.
Yeah.
The Hunger Games. So Katniss wakes up to find that she's in a hole. She's all sweaty and gross, which is just me on a normal day. She doesn't know how long she's been out, but thinks that no more than a day has passed, the stiffness in her joints suggests more than a day has passed, even 2 possibly.
Yeah. Well, when you're full of venom.
If so, I'll have no way of knowing which tributes survived that Tracker Jacker attack. Not Glimmer or the girl from District 4, but there was a boy from District 1, both tributes
He's
from
fine.
District 2
They're fine.
and Peeta.
He's fine.
Did they die from the stings?
No, they're fine.
Certainly if they lived, their last days must have been as horrid as my own.
Yeah, well, they're fine.
And
They're totally fine, in fact. They've got a fucking minefield around their food.
Yeah, and she worries about Rue as well.
She's fine for now. And then Suze transparently walks up to me and goes, I'm going to stomp on your heart. And I went, okay.
Suze does not fuck around, by the way, when it comes to the trauma. She will just freaking deliver every time. It's
wild because I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
But see,
and
this
it
is
still devastated me.
This is you, though. And I feel like this becomes so much more real because, like, this was around the age of the kids that we taught.
Yeah.
And so you know how young, like, 12 is.
Yes.
Like, they're fucking children.
They're tiny.
little babies at that point. And they think they're so big, which is the cutest part.
Yeah.
Is that they think they're so adult and you look at them and you're like, you are 4'11". Like, will you stop?
The second she started mixing up Rue and Prim in her head, I was like, oh no, damn it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And you just kind of go, all right, that sucks. Like, and you just see it coming and you just go, this is going to really hurt. And then it really hurts. And then it hurts more because of how District,
11 cents or the bread?
not 11.
What, 8, not 8, isn't it 11?
9? No.
It's 11.
Oh yeah, 11. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
District 11 fucking sends her the bread. Which Katniss thinks, oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So she also worries about Rue and whether or not she's okay. And then she flashes back to the conversation between herself and Gale where they talk about whether or not they should run away. And she thinks about how Peeta saved her life. Gus, do you think that was genuine save your life?
Well, people have suggested to me that it might have been a hallucination, which, I don't know, that would be shitty and cheap if it were, in my opinion. But do I think it's a genuine save her life?
Yeah, because she's kind of mulling over, is he simply working the lover boy angle he initiated in the interview, or was he actually trying to protect me? And if he was, what was he doing with the careers in the first place?
Well, I ran through my whole theory on that a while ago. He does cut from them now. I do think that as long as she is in the game, she is a bigger threat than him.
So why do you think that he's not with them now?
There's only 3 left. I said he has to team up with Marvel, whose name I knew, because you told me. But he clearly didn't.
Right.
So, if there's 3 and 1, that's a lot different from 5 and 1.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I mean, he's kind of...
Well, and what was the last thing that Peeta did?
He could also have gotten penalized for telling her to run.
So you think that Kato overheard?
No, I don't think Kato overheard. I think it's possible Kato overheard. I think if Kato had overheard, Peeta would have been dead. Unless Kato simply could not run because he was full of venom. But it's possible that he tried to whisper for her to run and it was too loud. There's a number of things that could have happened. I think that's most likely, unfortunately, is that he was trying to keep her alive so he could continue to play off the careers, but someone heard him and,
Yeah. Good questions. So now she's got bow and arrows. A bow and arrow.
She has a dozen arrows, I think.
A full dozen if you count the one she retrieves from the tree.
Yeah.
They bear no trace of the noxious green slime that came from Glimmer's body.
Yeah, so that was fake.
Thanks, Seuss.
No, it was a hallucination.
I know, but so gross.
Yeah.
So it might not have been wholly real.
Probably not.
But they do have a fair amount of dried blood on them.
Great.
So maybe that was blood,
awesome.
Not green slime.
Ew.
And she tries shooting a few into a tree. She's dehydrated, so she searches for water. She's starving as well. She says her hip bones and ribs are more prominent than she remembers them being since the awful months after her father's death.
So the next thing that happens is she teams up with Rue, right?
Yeah.
She almost shoots her, but then doesn't.
So this is what happens. So she's, she eats some stuff, and like some wild turkey or something. She's not really sure what it is.
Burb.
And then she hears a twig snap. In one motion, I turn to the sound, bringing the bow and arrow to my shoulder. There's no one there. No one I can see, anyway. Then I spot the tip of a child's boot just peeking out from behind the trunk of a tree. My shoulders relax, and I grin. She can move through the woods like a shadow, you can give her that. How else could she have followed me? The words come out of my mouth before I can stop them. They're not the only ones who can form alliances.
And
Haymitch is like, you are fucking kidding me.
Like, no! Come on.
I mean, do you think that might be why Thresh is not hanging around with her?
It should be a shit partner?
Probably.
Yeah, but she's not.
Plus, then he might be forced to kill a 12-year-old.
Well, Katniss also might have, but she got very lucky that Marvel gutted her like a pig, because then she didn't have to.
Yeah.
You didn't think this one through, Katniss.
I mean,
you kind of did, but you were like, I'm just not going to acknowledge the fact that I might have to brutally murder a 12-year-old at the end of this.
Well, also, Rue and Thresh would have completely different styles. I mean, Rue's going to be in the trees. Can Thresh get in the tree? Probably not.
You've said that twice.
No, I just think that that's a really good point.
It's true, but you have said it exactly like that 2 times, which makes me curious.
Well, that's because I was looking at this analysis from this TikToker because people were like, why didn't Thresh team up with Rue? And she was like, would he be in the tree?
No, he wouldn't be.
I think Lefty something on TikTok. You all should check her out if you're fans of the Hunger Games, but not if you haven't finished the books. And then for a moment, no response. Then one of Rue's eyes edges around the trunk. You want me for an ally?
Stop it.
Why
Stop
not?
It.
You saved me from those tracker jackers.
Stop.
You're smart enough to still be alive.
Suze.
And I can't seem to shake you anyway.
Come on.
She blinks at me, trying to decide. You hungry? I can see her swallow hard, her eyes flickering to the meat. Come on then. I've had 2 kills today. Rue tentatively steps out into the open. I can fix your stings. Can you? How? She digs in the pack she carries and pulls out a handful of leaves. I'm almost certain they're the ones my mother uses. Where'd you find these? Just around. We all carry them when we work in the orchards. They left a lot of nests there. There are a lot here, too. That's right, you're District 11, agriculture, I say. Orchards, huh? That must be how you can fly around the trees like you've got wings. Rue smiles. I've landed on one of the few things she'll admit pride in. Well, come on then, fix me up. So Rue helps her out. It hurts. Or wait, no, it doesn't. It's nice.
It's soothing.
Yeah, it's very soothing. It feels good. Rue asks, you weren't joking about wanting me for an ally? And Katniss says that she means it. I can almost hear Haymitch groaning as I team up with this wispy child. So Katniss also knows that that's like the thing. And so they team up. She says to Rue, I'd have thought in District 11 you'd have a bit more food to eat than us, since you grow the food. Rue's eyes widen. Oh no, we're not allowed to eat the crops. They arrest you or something? They whip you and make everyone else watch. The mayor's very strict about it.
Yeah, that's America.
It's, I think, purposefully loaded.
She knows what she's doing here.
I think it's purposefully loaded that we're whipping the people of color in the field.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing here. Yep.
I think we're going for, hey, look, this fucking blows.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I think that making Rue and Thresh people of color was intentional.
Well, yeah.
Whether or not
it was.
You think that there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, there is a lot to unpack there, but I do think that Suzanne was doing something on purpose.
She knew what she was doing.
Was making a commentary.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like, oh, look at this beautiful, pristine capital. What goes into supporting it?
Yeah.
It's like Snowpiercer in some ways.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a lot of similarity between The Hunger Games and Snowpiercer.
Yeah, it is a lot of like anti-capitalist dystopia.
Yeah. And specifically that comments on, as it is American, this book, there's commentary.
A lot of our original
can't do it without commentary on race. You cannot.
You must.
Yeah.
It is imperative.
Yep.
So there's, Katniss thinks about how it's not really commonplace in District 12 to have public whippings. Though technically she and Gale could be whipped for poaching in the woods or worse. But their mayor doesn't really do that. And Rue wants to know, do you get all the coal you want? No, we just what we buy and whatever we track in on our boots.
Yeah.
They feed us a bit extra during the harvest so that people can keep going longer.
Yeah.
Nah. Don't you have to be in school? Not during harvest. Everyone works then. Which is kind of how our original school system worked, right?
That is why we have summer vacations, yes.
Yeah, so that the kids could work in the fields, right?
Yes.
Let's take a quick break for ads on that very fun note.
So fun.
All right, we're back. Rue and Katniss bond some more.
And she gets these sunglasses, these cool ass sunglasses she has. But she's like, oh, why would I want these? It's bright. And Rue is like, they're night vision goggles. She's like, they're what? And Rue is like, yeah, I've seen these a couple times. You can see in the dark with them. You thought they were sunglasses?
Yeah, they'll pass out a few pairs of those. They'll pass out a few pairs to those of us highest in the trees, where the torchlight doesn't reach. One time, this boy Martin, he tried to keep his pair, hid it in his pants. They killed him on the spot. They killed a boy for taking these? Yes, and everyone knew he was no danger. Martin wasn't right in the head. I mean, he still acted like a 3-year-old. He just wanted the glasses to play with. Hearing this makes me feel like District 12 was some sort of safe haven.
So she offers to let her sleep in her sleeping bag, which is, again, I'm just like, oh my God, you're making it too precious. I don't, like, it's working, and I hate that it's working, and that I know what you're doing, and that it's working. But it's working, and she's like, hey, how long has it been? How many people died? She said just the 2.
Just the girls from Districts 1 and 4.
Yeah.
There's 10 left.
And I think neither of the... Oh, no, that's the next chapter. Never mind.
Yeah, and she said... she asks after Peeta, and Rue says, he's not with them now. I've spied on their base camp by the lake. They made it back before they collapsed from the stingers. But he's not there. Maybe he did save you and had to run.
That is possible.
Katniss isn't sure if it's a hallucination or not. If he did, it was all probably just part of his act, to make people think he's in love with me. Oh, I didn't think that was an act. Of course it is.
Sure.
He worked it out with our mentor.
See, even I'm reneging on I overcomplicated a lot of stuff in these books. I was looking for, I think, a lot of duplicity and subversion, where there's probably some, but not as much as I was banking on. I think I was in Battle Royale mode.
There are surprises.
Of course there
are
surprises. I didn't mean to suggest it's not surprising or not well written. It is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very tightly written book.
Yeah.
I think, some things to bear in mind are like that it is YA, which tends to be a little more straightforward because of the audience.
Because you have to learn the tropes before you can be shocked by breaking the tropes.
Yeah, but I think that Suze is a very smart writer, but she's not necessarily trying to trick you. There are surprises.
Yeah, which is completely...
Yeah.
She doesn't have to.
Or maybe she is, and I'm just gaslighting you.
That's also possible.
So they decide to try out the glasses. Rue tells her that the careers have 2 pairs because they've got everything by the lake and they're really strong. Katniss says, we're strong too, just in a different way. You are. You can shoot. What can I do? You can feed yourself, can they? They don't need to. They have all those supplies. Say they didn't. Say the supplies were gone. How long would they last? I mean, it's the Hunger Games, right? Mm-hmm. But Katniss, they're not hungry. No, they're not. That's the problem. And for the first time, I have a plan. A plan that isn't motivated by my need for flight and evasion. An offensive plan. I think we're going to have to fix that, Rue.
Yeah.
And then Suze took another shot. Like, I just honestly, just the ends of her chapters are fucking great.
All right, chapter 16, some notes. Neither of them can remember Foxface. That's interesting. Because neither of them could. And I was like, why are we explicitly forgetting that this girl exists?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone died. Maybe it was the random guy from number 3, because we don't know anything about him. And then later I learned, no, it was the guy with the foot who just died. Did nothing and died.
Yeah.
Which, fair, but oh well.
They couldn't all be winners.
Suze, you gotta stop making Rue sweet and precious, because this is gonna make it much, much, much sadder when she inevitably dies.
I feel like Suze potentially introduced the kid with the bad foot, and then was like, is it too much to do kid with the bad foot and Rue at the, and really give them both equal weight?
Yeah, probably.
There's a part of me that wonders about that.
So if it walks like a trap, and it talks like a trap, but it wasn't a trap. No, it was a trap. Yeah, because it had the bombs.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Peeta got cut? Or is this all an elaborate trap? It was not. He actually got cut. Foxface didn't die. So it's either Thresh or Mr. Foot who died. And it was Mr. Foot.
It was Mr. Foot. Unfortunate that we have to call him Mr. Foot.
I don't know anything about him. All I know about him is District 10 and he had a bad foot.
Yeah.
It's literally the only thing I know about him.
Unfortunate. You'd think they'd do like a name game or something so that they all at least... Well, I don't know. Does that help?
She heard their names in the interviews. She just didn't bother to remember any of them.
No, because probably it makes them harder to kill.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so Rue has decided to trust Katniss wholeheartedly.
It's the right thing to do. She is the protagonist. She saw the camera over her shoulder and went, all right, yeah, you're probably chill.
So she wants to find a way to destroy their food. Traditionally, the career tribute strategy is to get hold of all the food early on and work from there. The years when they have not protected it well, 1 year a pack of hideous reptiles destroyed it, another a game maker's flood washed it away. Those are usually the years that tributes from other districts have won. That the careers have been better fed growing up is actually to their disadvantage, because they don't know how to be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Not the way Rue and I do. But she's too tired to figure out any kind of plan that night. A cannon jolts her awake.
Yeah, and it's just number 10 died.
And she's worried about Peeta.
He's fine.
And they can't remember Foxface, like you said.
Which is, neither of them can.
Rue says, I wonder how that last one died. No telling, but it's good for us. A death should hold the crowd for a bit.
Hate it.
Maybe we'll have some time to do something before the game makers decide things have been moving too slowly. And Rue has breakfast for them. And they're going to take out the career's food. They have to come up with a plan. During the day, they've been leaving another tribute, the boy from District 3, to watch over the supplies.
Yeah, because he's an engineer, and he has reactivated all the mines.
They agreed to let him live if he acted as their guard.
It's not gonna last very long,
but he's not very big.
Throw a fucking mine at them.
And the food's just out in the open.
Yeah. And then they talk about how much Rue loves music. And she does the thing, which I assume is the, kind of hard to whistle in, Will Mike. It's the da-da-dun-da thing, right?
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
So they have Mockingjays at District 11. I'm usually up highest, so I'm the first to see the flag that signals quitting time. There's a special little song I do. And she does the 4-note run in a sweet, clear voice. And the Mockingjays spread it around the orchard. That's how everyone knows to knock off. They can be dangerous, though, if you get too near their nests. But you can't blame them for that. Katniss tries to give her the pin. And she says no, but she does have a necklace that on it hangs a star or a flower of some kind. And it's supposed to be a good luck charm. So that doesn't work out.
Oh.
Just saying.
So she hands over her sleeping bag to Rue, because Rue's going to be cold. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. And then they cut and run, right? They split up to do the plan. So do
the plan. So the plan, explain the plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically what's going to happen here is that Rue is going to go and make a series of campfires. Mm-hmm. And then swing through.
To lure them away.
Yeah. She's going to jump from tree to tree to get away from them. But you're going to lure them gradually farther and farther away because they're just leaving the boy from 3, but they might not even do that. And if it's just one person, then Katniss could theoretically shoot the guy. Mm-hmm. And then she's going to find a way to fuck up all the food.
Right.
Which is it's not a bad plan, but it is half-baked, and it is founded on a lack of knowledge, which is its mind.
Yes. So Rue splits off to do that, and Katniss goes to look at the careers.
Yeah.
Remember, I tell myself, you're the hunter now, not them. There are 4 tributes, the boy from District 1, Cato, and the girl from District 2, and a scrawny, ashen-skinned boy who must be from District 3. He made almost no impression on me at all during our time at the Capitol.
Clearly not, because I've never fucking heard of him.
I can remember almost nothing about him, not his costume, not his training score, not his interview. So he's just hanging out, and the careers are ignoring him, and Katniss doesn't understand why they allowed him to live at all.
A mine.
So all 4 tributes seem to still be recovering from the Tracker-Jacker attack. That's probably why. They don't have the ability or energy to deal with guarding. They're recovering. And she sees how large the swollen lumps on their bodies are. They must not have had the sense to remove the stingers.
Idiots.
Or if they did, not known about the leaves that healed them.
Dumbass.
Apparently, whatever medicines they found in the cornucopia have been ineffective.
Cato, I don't know how Cato's going to eventually die, but it's not going to be...
There's 10 left. You want to venture some guesses?
Not 10 left. No, there's no way it's 10
left.
There's
10 left.
10?
10.
No, it's Marvel, Cato, Clove, number 3, who is now dead. Mm-hmm. Number 10, who is now dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I mean, right now.
Okay, 310, Rue, Thresh, Peeta, and Katniss. That's 9.
And Foxface. You forgot Foxface.
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot Foxface.
Exactly. You forgot Foxface.
By the end of this, I think we're down to 6, right? Because it's Thresh,
Foxface, Rue, Katniss, Peeta, Cato.
No, Rue's at the end of this.
Oh, yeah.
Thresh and Foxface. The 2 from 2 and the 2 from 12. Everyone else is dead.
Correct. There's 6.
Yeah.
Big massacre this day.
Well, they're going to blow everything up, so.
Okay. So the whole setup is completely perplexing. The distance, the netting, and the presence of the boy from District 3. One thing's for sure, destroying those supplies is not going to be as simple as it looks. Some other factor is at play here, and I'd better stay put until I figure out what it is. My guess is the pyramid is booby-trapped in some manner. Correct.
It is.
I think of concealed pits, descending nets, a thread that, when broken, sends a poisonous dart into your heart.
No, it's a lot more simple than that.
Really, the possibilities are endless. While I'm mulling over my options, I hear Cato shout out. He's pointing up at the woods. far beyond me, and without turning, I know that Rue must have set the first campfire. We'd made sure to gather enough green wood to make the smoke noticeable. The careers begin to arm themselves at once. An argument breaks out. It's loud enough for me to hear that it concerns whether or not the boy from District 3 should stay or accompany them. He's coming. We need him in the woods, and his job's done here anyway. No one can touch those supplies, says Cato. What about Loverboy? Says the boy from District 1. I'm telling you, forget about him. I know where I cut him. It's a miracle he hasn't bled to death yet. At any rate, he's no shape to raid us. He's in no shape to raid us, says Cato. So Cato cut him.
He'll be fine.
Why do you think Cato cut him?
Probably he saw that he told... Yeah, okay, well...
He definitely heard him.
Oh, well. I hoped he hadn't.
Yeah, he definitely heard him.
Oh, well.
So Peeta is out there in the woods, wounded badly, but I'm still in the dark on what motivated him to betray the careers.
You
think?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think it's as simple. Like, I just don't think it's that simple. I don't know. It could be. I might be overcomplicating this. But I don't think it's as simple as he actually just loves her and wants her to be okay. But it could be because Katniss just is like, well, I'll just team up with the 12-year-old and ignore the fact that I might have to snap her little neck at the end of all this.
Come on, says Cato. He thrusts a spear into the hands of the boy from District 3 and they head off in the direction of the fire. The last thing I hear as they enter the woods is Cato saying, when we find her, I kill her in my own way and no one interferes.
I don't like that.
Somehow I don't think he's talking about Rue.
I don't like you, bud.
She didn't drop a nest of tracker jackers on him.
Do it again.
So she stays for about a half an hour trying to figure out what to do.
Thank God she does that. And then Foxface shows up and does a full gymnastics floor routine.
Yeah. For a second, I think it's Rue, but then I recognize Foxface. She's the one we couldn't remember this morning, creeping out onto the plain. When she decides it's safe, she runs for the pyramid with quick, small steps. Just before she reaches the circle of supplies that had been littered around the pyramid, she stops, searches the ground, and carefully places her feet on a spot. Then she begins to approach the pyramid with strange little hops, sometimes landing on one foot, teetering slightly, sometimes risking a few steps. At one point, she launches up in the air over a small barrel and lands poised on her tiptoes, but she overshot slightly, and her momentum throws her forward. I hear her give a sharp squeal as her hands hit the ground, but nothing happens. Could you imagine watching this at home? You're like, oh, fuck, if she's wrong about where those mines are.
That would be bad.
In a moment, she's regained her feet and continues until she has reached the bulk of the supplies. So I'm right about the booby trap, but it's clearly more complex than I had imagined. I was right about the girl, too. How wily is she to have discovered this path into the food and to be able to replicate it so neatly? She fills her pack, taking a few items from a variety of containers, crackers from a crate, a handful of apples from a burlap sack that hangs suspended from a rope off the side of a bin. But only a handful of each, not enough to tip off that the food is missing. Not enough to cause suspicion. Smart. And then she, dances back into the woods.
She seems cool. I'm sure she's gonna do something fucky, but she seems cool.
Yeah. So Katniss realizes that the ground is mined, which explains everything.
Yeah.
Which explains, the career's willingness to leave the supplies, Foxface's reaction, the involvement of the boy from District 3.
Yeah.
Which is where they have the factories.
There's this one season of Survivor where they do this challenge where they have to people have to stand on a I don't remember exactly what it was, but one of the teams figured out a way to basically cheat the challenge and carry their teammates across this gap. And as they're doing that, because it's not against the rules, but it's not how it was designed. And while the host is commentating, he goes, "This is not the way we designed this challenge or the way we thought it was going to go."
Yeah.
And that is how I imagine the game makers watching boy from number 3 dig up and rearm 500 mines.
Yeah, all the landmines that they have.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah. I bet they were pretty surprised by that.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart, though.
It's very smart.
Which makes sense why they didn't kill him. He probably was like, I have a plan.
Let's do this.
So then she thinks maybe there's a way to start a chain reaction.
I mean, one blows, they all blow. Here's the thing about this plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it keeps everybody else from getting the food.
Right.
But, guys, consider you hid the mines if one person who is not one of you sees the food and runs for it, it's all gone.
I don't know if they thought this through.
I don't think Cato is exactly a brain trust.
Oh, certainly not.
No, I think he might be dumber than dirt.
Probably. Well, you have to think, like, I think about this a lot. This has lived in my head rent free. I'm like, okay, you're in District 1 and 2. How do you pick the kids that you decide to train up?
The biggest,
because clearly they've been
meanest kid.
You get the biggest, meanest kid there is, right? You get the biggest, meanest kids. And you're like, all right, sorry, your kid's a dick. And he's also massive.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick that kid. And we're just going to train him to be exactly what he already is, which is a sociopath.
A big bully.
Right? We're going to train him. We're going to just extrapolate on all of those instincts so that everyone else's smaller, scrawnier, weaker, nicer kids can live. And like, you got to think to a certain extent, you're like, there's a horrific practicality in that. But you're like, also to the parents, it's like, hey, this is our way to ensure that we get back as many of our kids as possible.
Okay, but you also know that there would be like a reality show in District 1 called like Tribute Moms. There would be.
Oh my God. It'd be like Dance Moms for Tribute Moms.
Yeah, there totally would be.
Suzanne, write it. I would read the ever-loving shit out of it. Because you gotta think that 9 times out of 10, the moms of the tribute kids are just fucking assholes. Because like they pick the assholiest kid.
Yeah, well, just both parents probably would be horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the time, right, not to be sexist,
yeah.
but a lot of the time, right, like, you know, kids that are mean, like really mean, sometimes there's stuff going on at home, or they, you know, sometimes, not every time.
Yeah.
That explains it, right? Where sometimes you'll meet the parents and you're like, no, yeah, all right. You know, sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Not every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, those kids will have the sweetest parents and there's something else going on, right? But you pick the biggest, meanest child and you train them to do everything that they want to do anyway, which is like maim and kill, right? Because there's just some kids like that. And you just bring out their worst instincts and just celebrate them. And then you also brainwash the ever-loving shit out of them.
Yep.
Right? And then, you know what? They come back disillusioned. Oh, well, you lived. So, you know, and to make sure that we get to, you know, get more kids who live, you're going to pass it on anyway.
Whew.
Am I right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of the folks at home.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But, you know, usually the biggest, meanest kid does not always equal the smartest kid.
Not always.
Not always. I think if we're thinking about things in terms of stereotype,
yes,
they don't tend to be known as the smartest child.
I believe the phrase is God does not give with both hands.
God does not give with both hands.
Which isn't to say that you can't be burly and smart and evil. You could be. That's Peeta. No, I'm kidding. I've no fucking idea what's going on with Peeta.
No, I just always say, you know, I think that I was given disabilities because otherwise I would have been too powerful. I truly believe that. I'm like, God did not want me to be this powerful as I could have been. So that's my thing. So much like with this, God did not give with both hands. And it seems like the careers basically have one play, right? Which is like the same play that every alpha male and Survivor ever has had, which is like, I'm going to win challenges.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, after a while, everyone sees that gameplay and is like, all right, so they're going to be the one who just tries to challenge Beast to the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut him right before the merge.
That does happen on Survivor.
The merge is when the two tribes become one tribe because there's not enough people to keep going. And that's when they start playing for individual immunity.
Yep.
And so what you don't want to do, you want to keep the alpha male big guy around long enough that he can help out your tribe win against the other tribe. But once you get to individual immunity, it's bad to keep him around because he'll just win his way to the end.
Yep.
And then a lot of the time we'll use that as a reason why he should win. And it just becomes impossible to get rid of him. So
they usually don't win.
They usually don't win, but every now and then you get a
Don't spoil Survivor for the good folks at home.
Well, you can bleep that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get that one who's like super likable and good at the game, but also just can't seem to lose.
Yeah.
And then what do? So you got to get rid of them before individual immunity. You want to time it so that it's right before then.
Yeah.
Anyway, so same thing here. You want to get rid of, I feel like you want to get rid of these big buff idiots, like right as soon as you can, so that it's not coming down to like you versus them.
Yeah.
So this is smart of Katniss. And it seems like they have one plan, which is sit on the food.
Yeah, which seems like it always works.
Not always. She says that the years that they don't win is when they find a way to get rid of the food.
Right. If that plan is successful, they win.
Yeah. So Katniss wisely is like,
blow it up.
Blow it up.
And it's so cool. Wait, can we read this? I love this part.
Yeah, of course. There's a solution to this. I know there is. If I can only focus hard enough. I stare at the pyramid, the bins, the crates too heavy to topple over with an arrow. This is how good Suze is, by the way. She draws attention to that fucking apple bag early.
She's clever.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's like planting the seed before the seed actually pays off.
Yeah.
Maybe one contains cooking oil and the burning arrow idea is reviving when I realize I could end up losing all 12 of my arrows and not get a direct hit on an oil bin. And then you're an idiot.
That'd be bad.
Since I'd just be guessing. I'm genuinely thinking of trying to recreate Foxface's trip up to the pyramid in the hopes of finding a new means of destruction when my eyes light on the burlap bag of apples.
Yeah.
I could sever the rope in one shot. Didn't I do as much in the training center? It's a big bag, but it still might only be good for one explosion. If only I could free the apples themselves. I know what to do. I move into range and give myself 3 arrows to get the job done. I place my feet carefully, block out the rest of the world as I take meticulous aim. The first arrow tears through the side of the bag near the top, leaving a split in the burlap. That's all you really need. The second widens it to a gaping hole. I can see the first apple teetering when I let the third arrow go, catching the torn flap of burlap and ripping it from the bag. For a moment, everything seems frozen in time. Can you imagine how freaking close she has to stand, though, for this?
Well, yeah, because she gets knocked the fuck out next page.
The apples spill to the ground, and I'm blown backward into the air.
Ooh.
Ouch. She's taken a beating during this game.
Yes.
And now let's break for ads. Chapter 17, Gus.
Yeah.
Let's hear your notes.
I have a few, and then I don't have any after this. Hey, Cato, you're a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. He's a fucking dickhead.
Oh,
he was the biggest, brawniest little dickhead. I wonder what age they decide you're the dickhead kid.
12. I don't know.
They just look at all the 12-year-olds and go, okay, which one is it?
Yeah, they probably have several.
They have several candidates, and they're like, who's the... Let's have them wrestle.
I bet they make them fight each other. I bet sometimes they die.
You think that they have the 12-year-olds all fight and see
No,
who
I
wins?
bet that when they are training, they probably do sword fighting.
So they pick a couple.
I bet in some of the career districts. See, but
that's a way to lose even more kids, though. Well, I guess, on average...
They want the food, they want the money, they want the glory and the prestige. I mean, look, if they volunteer their children to go to the Hunger Games, knowing they very well might die because there's multiple districts of careers, I would not put it past some of these districts to have, kids who might die in training against each other. If you put a bunch of bullies in the room together and say, find the best bully.
I mean, doesn't that make you feel kind of bad for them too, though?
Oh my God, it's terrible.
If you think about it from their perspective, Clove and Cato and Marvel and Glimmer might have known each other all, their whole lives. They might have been training together from the time they were kids.
It's all fucked up. Nothing is good in this series. Nothing is good. Everything's terrible. Except the bread. The bread's great.
Yeah, do you think that Marvel, is upset about Glimmer at all?
Probably. Then I wrote, the guy with the bad foot got killed. Rough. On behalf of the Tinnitus Club, welcome to your new life, Katniss.
Oh, you poor baby.
You ignore it. You kind of stop noticing it after a while. Need you to show the fuck up, Rue. Spoiler alert. She did.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's bad.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So she gets winded, by her, being blown back, but the backpack does soften the blow a little bit. The apples set off the mines, causing debris to activate the others. So that's probably why they didn't think it through. They didn't think about the debris of it all. Like, they probably did the mines far enough apart that they wouldn't necessarily activate each other, but the flying debris is what's going to set off the other mines.
They're so stupid. I mean, stupid. Stupid.
Pretty dumb.
Stupid.
I mean, I don't blame the boy from 3, like, just trying to...
Put the mines farther out.
Like, I bet what he was thinking about doing, I bet he had been planning on digging up the mines from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? He was like, that's what my plan is going to be, and just place them in different places around the arena, hoping that people get blown up.
Yeah.
But then he had to pivot.
Yeah, because the careers decided to sit on the cornucopia at the cornucopia. Wait, no, they're not at the cornucopia. They're at the lake now.
Yeah, they just decided to leave everything there.
Yeah.
And then he was like, ooh, I accidentally found myself surrounded by careers. So I'm going to just tell them what my plan is so that...
I have to adjust.
Yeah. So, yeah, she is worried she's gone deaf from the explosion because her hand comes away bloody from her ear.
Yeah, She might have
popped her eardrum.
She can't hear out of that ear for the rest of this section, as I recall.
She probably popped her eardrum.
It's not good.
Does that make you deaf?
I don't know. Temporarily.
I mean, I know you can.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the inner ear.
I don't either. I'm not a doctor. Yeah, but she realizes that she's on her hands and knees out in the open, so she's got to get up.
She's stunned.
And run.
Yeah.
Because if she's out there in the open, not only will I face death, but it's sure to be long and painful at Cato's hand.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
The thought of Prim having to watch that keeps me doggedly inching my way toward the hideout. Another blast knocks me flat on my face, a stray mine set off by some collapsing crate. This happens twice more.
Whee!
I'm reminded of those last few kernels that burst when Prim and I pop corn over the fire at home.
That's funny.
To say I make it in the nick of time is an understatement. I've literally just dragged myself into the tangle of bushes at the base of the trees when there's Cato barreling onto the plain, soon followed by his companions. His rage is so extreme it might be comical. So people really do tear out their hair and beat the ground with their fists. If I didn't know that that was aimed at me, at what I had done to him. So it would have been funny otherwise. Add that to my proximity, my inability to run or defend myself, and in fact, the whole thing has me terrified.
Yeah.
I'm glad my hiding place makes it impossible for the cameras to get a close shot of me because I'm biting my nails like there's no tomorrow, gnawing off the last bits of nail polish, trying to keep my teeth from chattering. The boy from District 3 throws stones into the ruins and must have declared all the mines activated because the careers are approaching the wreckage.
But wouldn't it be great if they weren't? He was like, oh yeah, it's all clear. Boom. Mm-hmm. Oh no. Well, goodbye.
Cato has finished the first phase of his tantrum and takes out his anger on the smoking remains by kicking open various containers. Okay. The other tributes are poking around in the mess looking for anything to salvage, but there's nothing. If I were that boy from District 3, I would be like slowly walking into the woods.
Yeah, it's Homer Simpson back into the hedge.
Let them look around the wreckage and yes, Homer Simpson into the trees.
Goodbye, everybody.
The boy from District 3 has done his job too well. This idea must occur to Cato too, because he turns on the boy and appears to be shouting at him. The boy from District 3 only has time to turn and run before Cato catches him in a headlock from behind. I can see the muscles ripple in Cato's arms as he sharply jerks the boy's head to the side.
Well...
It's that quick, the death of the boy from District 3.
The
other two careers seem to be trying to calm Cato down. I can tell he wants to return to the woods, but they keep pointing at the sky, which puzzles me until I realize, of course, they think whoever set off the explosions is dead.
Right.
They're like, they've been blown to smithereens.
They said, you heard it. It's the cannon. You heard the cannon. She's dead.
Oh, they thought the
extra mines were cannons. Yeah.
Fucking good for Katniss. They didn't know about the arrows and the apples. They assumed the booby trap was faulty, but that the tribute who blew up the supplies was killed doing it. If there was a cannon shot, it could have been easily lost in the subsequent explosions. The shattered remains of the thief are moved by hovercraft. They retire to the far side of the lake to allow the game makers to retrieve the body of the boy from District 3, and they wait. So a hovercraft appears to take the dead boy. Up in the sky, I see the seal and know the anthem must have begun. A moment of darkness. They show the boy from District 3. They show the boy from District 10 who must have died this morning. Then the seal reappears. So now they know. The bomber survived.
Heh.
In the seal's light, I can see Kato and the girl from District 2 put on their night vision glasses.
Run.
The boy from District 1 ignites a tree branch for a torch, illuminating the grim determination on all their faces. The crews stride back into the woods to hunt. So Katniss decides there's no point in leaving her hiding place. But she does put on her own glasses to relax herself. And she's worried about Rue.
You should be.
She runs through the surviving tributes on her fingers, just as we did earlier. Let the 74th Hunger Games begin, Kato, I think. Let them begin for real.
Yeah. Oh no, did you lose all your advantages, you schmuck?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the careers suck. They're brainwashed children, but they also suck.
Yeah.
And it's so unfair. I peer through the bushes, afraid the careers have returned, trapping me here for an indefinite time. No, it's Foxface, standing in the rubble of the pyramid and laughing.
I would. It's fucking funny.
She's smarter than the careers, actually finding a few useful items in the ashes. A metal pot, a knife blade. I'm perplexed by her amusement until I realize that with the careers stores eliminated, she might actually stand a chance.
Yep.
Just like the rest of us.
Yep.
It crosses my mind to reveal myself and enlist her as a second ally against that pack.
No.
But I rule it out. There's something about that sly grin that makes me sure that befriending Foxface would ultimately get me a knife in the back.
Yes.
With that in mind, this might be an excellent time to shoot her. But she's heard something.
It would be.
Not me.
But you're a heroic protagonist, so you're not going to do that.
Yeah, because her head turns away toward the drop-off and she sprints through the woods. Katniss finds water, and the ringing in her ear diminishes until it's gone entirely. Gus says, brag. Sorry, I didn't mean to joke about it.
It's funny.
But her left ear she still can't hear. There's no sign of Rue. She washes the blood out of her jacket and hair. She's worried about how vulnerable she is out in the open, but she's got to eat. And then she starts to think, dangling up in the tree with the sun warming me, a mouthful of mint, my bow and arrows at hand. This is the most relaxed I've been since I've entered the arena. If only Rue would show up and we could clear out.
Well, Katniss, you're going to want to put the book down now. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to just put it down.
By late afternoon, I've resolved to go looking for her. I can at least visit the spot where she set the third fire and see if there are any clues to her whereabouts.
Yeah, don't. Just don't bother. Just go home.
In less than an hour, I'm at the place where we agreed to have the third fire, and I know something has gone amiss. The wood has been neatly arranged, expertly interspersed with tinder, but it has never been lit. Rue set up the fire, but never made it back here. Somewhere between the second column of smoke I spied before I blew up the supplies, and this point she ran into trouble. I have to remind myself she's still alive. Or is she? Could the cannon shot announcing her death have come in the wee hours of the morning when even my good ear was too broken to pick it up? Will she appear in the sky tonight? No, I refuse to believe it.
Well, yeah, but...
There could be 100 other explanations. She could have lost her way, run into a pack of predators or another tribute like Thresh and had to hide. Whatever happened, I'm almost certain she's stuck out there, somewhere between the second fire and the unlit one at my feet. Something is keeping her up a tree. I think I'll go hunt it down.
Good line. Well done, Suze.
Fucking Suze. It's a relief to be doing something after sitting around all afternoon. I creep silently through the shadows, letting them conceal me, but nothing seems suspicious. There's no sign of any kind of struggle, no disruption of the needles on the ground. I've stopped for just a moment when I hear it. I have to cock my head around the side to be sure, but there it is again. Rue's four-note tune coming out of a Mockingay's mouth. The one that means she's all right. I grin.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
She's not.
I grin and move in the direction of the bird. Another just a short distance ahead picks up on the handful of notes. Rue has been singing to them, and recently. Otherwise, they'd take up some other song. My eyes lift up into the tree, searching for a sign of her. I swallow and sing softly back, hoping she'll know it's safe to join me. A mockingjay repeats the melody to me, and that's when I hear the scream.
Oh.
It's a child's scream.
Oh,
a
no,
young
the
girl's
book
scream.
fell on the floor. Oh, well, I can't get all the way down there. Wow, what a shame.
There's no one in the area capable of making that sound except Rue. And now I'm running, knowing this may be a trap, knowing the three careers may be poised to attack me, but I can't help myself. There's another high-pitched cry. This time my name. Katniss! Katniss! Rue, I shout back, so she knows I'm near, so they know I'm near. And hopefully the girl who has attacked them with tracker jackers and gotten an 11 they still can't explain will be enough to pull their attention away from her. Rue, I'm coming! When I break into the clearing, she's on the ground, hopelessly entangled in a net. She just has time to reach her hand through the mesh and say my name before the spear enters her body. I'm sorry. I'm hurt. I'm hurt just as much as you.
Oh.
It was tough because when I saw the Hunger Games movie, my youngest sister at the time was 12.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. She could have flayed so many, but she didn't. She just got...
She could have flayed so many.
Man, that sucks.
Rip Rue the Flayer.
Rip Rue the Flayer didn't flay a single thing.
Maybe a nut or two.
Maybe a nut. Well, that was sad.
I mean, she has a body count, technically.
She's got several assists.
Glimmer and the girl from 4.
She's got several assists.
Several assists. And
Yeah.
I guess the boy from 3.
Technically Marvel, too, because Marvel gets
she's got 4
fucking
assists.
shot.
That's better than I played at soccer.
No. All right, let's get this depressing fucking chapter over with. It is a beautiful chapter. It is incredibly sad.
This is a very sad episode.
I don't have any notes because I was too busy being sad.
I know. You just looked at me so sad the whole time. He kept looking up and like his little lip would go out further and further.
It's because she like sings to her dying body.
Oh, it's freaking brutal.
And then she makes her like a crown of flower. Like, oh my God.
It's brutal.
And I say, oh my God, again, not because I'm like, it's so saccharine, but because I know exactly what you're doing, Suzanne Collins, and it's working.
How dare you, Suzanne?
How dare you show me exactly what you're gonna do to me, and then do it, and I'm still caught off guard.
It's still surprising.
It's like...
because everything's going so well.
I knew
and that's when you're like, you should
happen.
be like, oh no. But at the same time, you're like, we're on a real high here.
What if it didn't? But luckily, the first thing that happens is Katniss fucking murders Marvel.
Yeah, well, because it's like good writing oscillates between hope and fear, right?
Great.
We can't just have continuous streams of fear this entire time.
Right.
There was a moment of hope right before there was a moment of devastation.
Yeah.
And that's good writing, because if there's
great.
too much hope, there's not enough stakes. And if there's too much fear, it's so depressing. You're like, there's no way this person can win. I might as well put the book down.
Yeah.
Right? The boy from District 1 dies before he can pull out the spear.
Oh no.
Marvel.
What a shame. I mean, yeah, it is
Marvel
sad
at your
child died,
death,
but
you
also,
fuck. Anyway.
Why? You
Yeah.
fucking...
My arrow drives
Clown.
deeply into the center of his neck.
Oh, that's rough.
He falls to his knees. Now he knows why she got an 11.
Oh.
Oh, I guess that's why. He falls to his knees and halves the brief remainder of his life by yanking out the arrow and drowning in his own blood.
Once again, she's made the person that Katniss killed tremendously justifiably killed.
I'm gonna be real. If I got shot in the neck and I knew there was no way I was going to survive, I wouldn't want to prolong that either.
I think he was thinking about it.
Probably not, because
I think he
like
was
your
like, well, I
instinct
should
would
probably...
be. I know, but I'm just saying, like.
No, I get it.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way someone's going to be like, emergency medical attention. It's like, you're just going to bleed out. I'm reloaded, shifting my aim from side to side while I shout at Rue, "Are there more? Are there more?" She has to say no several times before I hear it. And she's like, do you mind? I'm actively dying. Can you just not make me repeat myself? So Rue has rolled to her side, her body curved in and around the spear. One look at the wound, and I know it's far beyond my capacity to heal. Beyond anyone's, probably. It's bad, and I don't want to read it.
Yeah. And then this happens, and it's sad.
She says, "You blew up the food," she whispers, "every last bit. You have to win." I'm going to. Enough to win for both of us now. I hear a cannon and look up. It must be for the boy from District 1. Don't go. Rue tightens her grip on my hand. Of course not. Staying right here. And she asks her to sing. She doesn't know what to sing. Believe it or not, there was once music in my house too. Music I helped make. My father pulled me in with that remarkable voice, but I hadn't sung much since he died, except when Prue is very sick. Then I sing her the same song she liked as a baby.
You mean Prim?
Oh, sorry, Prim is very
Prue?
sick.
We're just going to combine the two characters because they're the same
Exactly.
fucking person.
But if this is Prim's, I mean Rue's last request.
I hate...
I have to at least try.
I knew she was going to do that, and it worked.
So she sings her song that they sing babies to sleep with. Rue's eyes have fluttered shut. Her chest moves, but only slightly.
They sing babies to sleep with... Oh, my God.
Everything's still and quiet. Then almost eerily, the Mockingjays take up my song. And this is just fucking... You startled the dog.
Sorry, Petey.
Petey, it's okay.
Everything's
Dad is
actually
just having a
fine.
moment. He's like stretches and goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
As someone who has sung to someone who is dying before, this hits really hard.
It's fucking sad. It's fucking sad.
We both have been there, and it sucks.
And then it's sad.
It is like the worst experience ever.
It's sad. You don't have to
Rue's
read the whole song.
cannon
yeah.
fires.
Yeah.
I lean forward and press my lips against her temple. Slowly, as if not to wake her, I lay her head back on the ground and release her hand. They'll want me to clear out now so they can collect the bodies, and there's nothing to stay for. I roll the boy from District 1 onto his face and take his pack, retrieve the arrow that ended his life. I cut Rue's pack from her back as well, knowing she'd want me to have it, but leave the spear in her stomach. Weapons and bodies will be transported to the hovercraft. I've no use for a spear, but the sooner it's gone from the arena, the better.
Yes.
I can't stop looking at Rue, smaller than ever, a baby animal curled up in a nest of netting. I can't bring myself to leave her like this. Past harm, but seeming utterly defenseless. To hate the boy from District 1, who also appears so vulnerable in death, seems inadequate. It's the capital I hate for doing
There you
this
go.
to all of us.
Class consciousness, girl. You got it.
Class consciousness. Gale's voice is in my head, his ravings against the capital no longer pointless, no longer to be ignored. Rue's death has forced me to confront my own fury against the cruelty, the injustice they inflict upon us.
And then she figures out what Peeta meant.
I remember Peeta's words on the roof, only I keep wishing I could think of a way to show the capital they don't own me, that I'm more than just a piece in their games. And for the first time, I understand what he means. Yeah, Katniss. Like, obviously. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know I'm much older, but come on.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh,
Huh.
he doesn't want them to own him.
I see.
I get it. All right.
Well, ain't that a kick in the head?
So she picks wildflowers.
I love that phrase.
Is that a kick in the head? She decorates the body with flowers, covering the ugly wound, wreathing
my
her face,
God.
weaving her hair with bright colors. They'll have to show it, or even if they choose to turn the cameras elsewhere at this moment, they'll have to bring them back when they collect the bodies, and everyone will see her then and know I did it.
The game makers are like, oh boy. Hey, boss.
Bye, Rue.
Hey, guys.
I whisper.
Oh, my God.
I press the 3 middle fingers of my left hand against my lips and hold them out to her in her direction. Then I walk away without looking back. The birds fall silent. Somewhere a mockingjay gives the warning whistle that precedes the hovercraft. I don't know how it knows. It must hear things that humans can't. It doesn't take long. Then the general bird song begins again, and I know she's gone. Another mockingjay, a young one by the look of it, lands on a branch before me and bursts out Rue's melody.
Well, that's poignant.
The ones that mean she's safe. Good and safe, I say, as I pass under its branch. We don't have to worry about her now.
I'm gonna, it's gonna go stare at the ocean for a while.
I get that, though.
And then she's like, I'll fuck the system later. I'm gonna kill the careers now.
Yeah.
So I can kill the system later.
Exactly.
It's like, we gotta take this step by step. How do you eat an elephant and all that?
Yeah, I'm about to haul my packs into a tree to make camp
Oh, is this the bread?
when a silver parachute
Just
floats
when you
down.
think it can't get any more fucking depressing
And lands-
fucking pointed and fucking meaningful, a tiny sad roll drops out of the sky.
Yep.
And you know that these poor dirt farmers scrabbled together everything they had so they could send her a little fucking bunt cake. And it...
So,
sorry, I don't mean to be like this.
No, this is what this is for. No, if it helps, a bunch of people are doing a reread along with us. A bunch of people were like, I just reread the bread thing and I'm fucking crying.
And then she like toasts District. She's like, to the people of District 11, the game makers were like, no. No. The point is that you all hate each other and fight each other and are angry that you're killing each other's kids. Don't do this. Don't do this. You can't do the class consciousness thing.
A gift from a sponsor, but why now? I've been in fairly good shape with supplies. Maybe Hamish has noticed my despondency and is trying to cheer me up a bit. Or it could be something to help my ear. I open the parachute and find a small loaf of bread. It's not the fine white capital stuff. It's made of dark ration grain and shaped in a crescent, sprinkled with seeds. I flash back to Peeta's lesson on the various district breads in the training center. This bread came from District 11. Damn, good memory, girlfriend. I would not remember a single thing of that. That would have gone in one ear, out the other. But good for Peeta and his hyperfixation on bread.
Well, he's good for one thing.
It's bread knowledge.
Identifying bread.
It's like, I fucking know bread. And I'm like, I friggin' hope you do. You are the baker.
Job.
I cautiously lift the still warm loaf. What must it have cost the people of District 11 who can't even feed themselves? How many would have had to do without to scrape up a coin to put in the collection for this one loaf? It had been meant for Rue, surely. But instead of pulling the gift when she died, they'd authorized Hamish to give it to me. As a thank you? Or because, like me, they don't like to let debts go unpaid. For whatever reason, this is a first. A district gift to a tribute who's not your own.
Hey guys, you should probably be worried about that. Yeah.
I lift my face and step... I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
Of course you are.
Face and step into the last falling rays of sunlight. My thanks to the people of District 11, I say. I want them to know I know where it came from. That the full value of their gift has been recognized. Soon the seals in the sky, the anthem plays in my right ear. I see the boy from District 1, Rue. That's all for tonight. 6 of us left, I think. Only 6. With the bread still locked in my hands, I fall asleep at once.
You should eat it. And then it's just the Katniss Everdeen depression hour.
Yeah, she's like giving herself...
Yeah, she's like telling
tasks.
Herself to move, which is completely fair.
Grief is
very realistic.
Grief is a fucking trip.
Yep.
It's a fucking, deep grief is a fucking trip. Oh, the Marvel had a fuckload of stuff. Several knives, 2 spare spearheads, a flashlight, a small leather pouch, a first aid kit, a full bottle of water, and a pack of dried fruit. She's like, you
motherfucker. You cocky son of a bitch. You had so much food. You were like, I should bring a snack for my murder trip today. I think I'll bring a little bit of spiced wine along with me while I slaughter the children.
Slaughter the innocents.
Just in case I need to take the edge off the old thirst.
Oh my god. Out of all he might have chosen to me, this is a sign of extreme arrogance. Why bother to carry food when you have such a bounty back at camp? When you will kill your enemies so quickly you'll be home before you're hungry.
Admittedly, it's kind of lucky he brought it because all his food blew the fuck up.
Yeah. So she finishes off the loaf and she tells herself she has to go hunting. Where are you now, Cato? I think, as I roast the birds and Rue's roots. I'm waiting right here. She doesn't know where the careers are. They think maybe Thresh did this. She wonders if they think that Thresh might have done this. But Katniss thinks he never took any interest in her. And what about Foxface? Did she hang around to watch me blow up the supplies? No. When I caught her laughing in the ashes the next morning, it was as if someone had given her a lovely surprise. I doubt they think Peeta has lit this signal fire.
Oh, she lit a fire?
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
I forgot that happened. Yeah,
She's trying to get Cato to come to her.
She's doing the Predator thing. At the end when Arnold lights everything up and goes, ah! Yeah.
Cato's sure he's as good as dead, Peeta. I find myself wishing I could tell Peeta about the flowers I put on Rue, that I now understand what he's been trying to say on the roof. Perhaps if he wins the games, he'll see me on Victor's night when they replay the highlights of the games on a screen over the stage where we did our interviews.
Oh boy, that's a lot.
The winner sits in a place of honor on the platform, surrounded by their support crew.
I bet they're not aware of where they are.
That's traumatizing.
That's
as
awful.
Absolute fuck. They must be sedating those people.
That's
for
a
sure.
lot.
But I told Rue I'd be there for both of us. And somehow that seems even more important than the vow I gave Prim. Probably because Rue's dead.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you know, when you give a dead person a promise.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Yeah. Also, you know, Katniss is at a point now where she's like in the final 6. So she actually has like a pretty decent shot at this point.
Yeah.
You know, especially now that the careers don't have any food.
Yeah. They're going to get real hungry and angry.
She overcooks the birds, hoping someone will show up, and no one does. Probably the careers are like, well, last time there was a fire, we got lured away to our food, and it was a trap. So we probably shouldn't be like going off to look for fires anymore.
That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe now the final 6 are a lot smarter than that, right? We've kind of gotten rid of the, you know, poor sheltered girls and boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My brain begins to replay the events from yesterday. Don't worry. The Capitol will do that for you, too, if you win.
Also, the rest of your life will do that for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what you get for winning?
Trauma.
Yeah. I keep seeing Rue speared, my arrow piercing the boy's neck. Now we all understand Haymitch a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. He's like presented as kind of a funny person at first, and then you realize he's fucking traumatized.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
I don't know why I should even care about the boy, because he's a victim like you.
Well, and you killed him.
Yeah.
That's hard to deal with, you know?
Well, at the end of the day, you know, like
we got
you think about...
There was a deer that jumped into our car once, and the deer died, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really happy I survived that, but I was also like, as someone who likes to take spiders outside instead of crushing them, kind of took me a minute to come to terms with the fact that I had demolished a deer.
I remember you turned to me and you were like, I hurt the deer, and I'm like, yeah. We were both really sad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both like take spiders outside people.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because once I trapped a fly in the fridge by accident, and I was like,
oh no.
I couldn't walk away. I was like, I have to open this and let the fly out because like that's too upsetting for me.
Well, also not to be pragmatic, but the food's in there.
Well, yeah,
it's also
but that was not the first thought in my head. I was like, fair. I can't let it die that way. That's
would be
horrible.
rough, yeah.
That's a horrible way to go. Then I realized he was my first kill.
Yes.
She had some assists, but this was her first. Along with other statistics they report to help people place their bets, every tribute has a list of kills. Now, do you think that they count Glimmer and the girl from 4 as a kill?
Yeah.
Okay, so technically those were her first kills, but that was very indirect.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
They could have easily gotten away.
Yes.
She was not necessarily trying to kill them. She was trying to get them away from her.
She created the circumstance in which they died.
Same thing with the District 3 boy. It's like, do you count that as a her kill?
No, that's a Cato kill.
No, that's definitely a Cato kill. I guess technically I'd get credited for Glimmer. Okay, well, she also says that Glimmer and the girl from District 4, too, for dumping that nest on them. But the boy from District 1 was the first person I knew would die because of my actions.
Yeah.
Numerous animals have lost their lives at my hands, but only one human. I hear Gale saying, how different can it be, really?
Very. Again, to flash back to what I said in the first episode, it's not remotely the same.
Well, I'm a person who would never even kill an animal.
Yeah.
But, you know, like that would not be something I would ever participate in.
No.
But, yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough, Katniss.
It's rough. I killed a boy whose name I don't even know.
It's
Somewhere,
Marvel.
His family is weeping for him.
Yeah.
His friends call for my blood.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a girlfriend who really believed he would come back.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But then I think of Rue's still body and I'm able to banish the boy from my mind. At least for now.
Yeah.
It's been an uneventful day according to the sky. No deaths. I wonder how long we'll get until the next catastrophe drives us back together. She wants to get some sleep. But then I hear the trumpets and sit straight up in anticipation. For the most part, the only communication the tributes get from outside the arena is a nightly death toll. Fun. But occasionally, there will be trumpets followed by an announcement. Usually this will be a call to a feast. When food is scarce, the game makers will invite the players to a banquet, somewhere known to all like the cornucopia, as an inducement to gather and fight. Sometimes there is a feast, and sometimes there's nothing but a loaf of stale bread for the tributes to compete for. That's fucking mean. If you're going to promise them a feast, give them a feast.
At least give them a feast.
I wouldn't go in for the food, but this could be an ideal time to take out a few competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Claudius Templesmith's voice booms down from overhead, congratulating the 6 of us who remain. but he is not inviting us to a feast. He's saying something very confusing. There's been a rule change in the games. A rule change. That in itself is mind-bending since we don't really have any rules to speak of except don't step off your circle for 60 seconds and the unspoken rule about not eating one another.
It's a good rule.
It's a really good rule. Under the new rule, well, if you put just a fucking piece of bread, though, and the people are dead anyway...
Still wouldn't want to eat them.
I wouldn't wanna, but like, I get it a little more.
I don't get it. There's food.
We've been watching Yellow Jackets, and both of us are like, when are they gonna eat her?
That's different. It's the winter, and it's been months.
Fine.
These games go on for like 2 weeks.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I get it a little more.
Okay.
I'm not saying I would eat someone. I'm just saying I get it a little more.
Okay, sure. All right.
Well, okay. Now you're looking at me funny, and I don't think you should look at me funny because I get it a little more. I'm not saying I would do it.
I get it.
I can't even eat red meat.
True.
Under the new rule, both tributes from the same district will be declared winners if they are the last two alive.
Bullshit.
Claudius pauses, as if, honestly, that probably should have been the rule the whole time.
It should be, but also bullshit.
Claudius pauses as if he knows we're not getting it and repeats the change again. The news sinks in. 2 tributes can win this year if they're from the same district. Both can live. Both of us can live. Before I can stop myself, I call out Peeta's name.
Bullshit.
And
all right.
Suze takes another shot.
We're super overdue for ads, so we have to do ads now. All right, welcome back. Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Why is
this
it
is
bullshit?
Bullshit. What's the next section called? Read it. What's it called? Is it called the Victors?
The Victor.
It's called the Victor. Singular. Bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Bullshit. Also, I hate this. A little bit.
You think it's bullshit?
If it is...
How do you... Okay, there's 6 people left in the games.
Okay, we
right?
said ages ago. What do they want? They don't want Katniss to die at random. They want Katniss to go out in a blaze of glory and for Peeta to find her body. Or even better, they want Katniss versus Peeta at the end. Which is what this is. This is a fabricated way to force them. Here's what they get out of this. They get either, realistically, 2 careers slugging it out, which is dramatic, or the star-crossed lovers tearing each other asunder, which is dramatic, right? Because respectfully to Foxface and Thresh, the duos are going to be is going to be very hard.
Yeah, the duos are going to be working together.
So, like, bullshit. I don't believe this for a second. And if it is simply like, well, you can both win now, then it really the reason I don't believe it is because it undercuts a lot of the dramatic tension up to this point. If you can just suddenly have Katniss and Peeta both win. What I do think is possible, and you can vouch that I said this a few weeks ago off podcast, would be like if it is the 2 of them together at the end, and then like Claudius Templesmith or whatever his name is comes in and is like, congratulations, well done, and then he throws down 2 swords and is like, now fight to the death. They could both just be like, no. And I would be curious to see what would happen if that happened. Because I think that's possible. Because I'm starting to think that maybe all my theories about Peeta also being this evil mad genius are overwrought, and that in fact he was just a good guy all along, and maybe everything I've ever thought is a lie, and I never should have said anything aloud before, and I'm full of shit.
Gus,
so,
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you are wrong about that, it was delightful.
Oh no, I'm not actually.
And if you
worried about this.
were right about that, it was delightful. So either way, it's a win.
So I think this is bullshit. I don't think there's a second of truth to this. I think it's all trash.
What? With the capital lie?
Yes. Here's the thing.
They seem like great people.
I think Cato and Clove would not hesitate for a second to do a Battle of the Beasts at the end.
Sure.
And it would be, unfortunately, great television for the Capitol.
Unfortunately.
And so would... I mean, I'm going to spoil a Netflix show that came out a year ago. That it follows a similar format to this. It's called Squid Game. So if you don't want to know how Squid Game ends, go away, I guess. This whole thing at the end of Squid Game is like, make these 2 guys fight it out who knew each other, and one of them doesn't want to. And it's very dramatic.
Yeah.
So,
You think that the Capitol would lie? I'm shocked. Shocked by these accusations.
I know, right?
Yeah, It's also quite possible, though, that Katniss and Peeta are so popular that the Capitol just doesn't want, that the people are like, let them both live. Could be.
The
ratings.
Sporting event exists to put the poor people in their place, quote unquote. This sporting event does not exist to make the districts feel good. It exists so the districts feel like they have a shadow of a chance. A shadow of a chance.
Because hope is very dangerous.
Because hope is, yeah.
Hope is dangerous, but a little is fine.
Is fine.
Because if there's no hope, then they're going to rebel.
Yeah.
And if there's too much hope, they're going to rebel. But if they have just enough hope, they won't.
If both of them can win, that's unfortunately within the bounds of the world. I think that's too much hope.
That could be.
But you know what's even better? Not better for the districts, but for the capital. Ooh, look what we could do. Never mind.
Yeah?
You can both live. No, you can't.
That's real.
Snuff it out.
Snuff it.
It's awful,
Snuff
but I
dead.
think that's what's happening.
Could be.
And I like, because at first I read this and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit. It's like, but all of the things that I was theorizing about are now bunk because we've decided to change the rules. And then I stopped and I went, no, Suze is a better writer than that.
She is a better writer than that.
This is not just, you know what? Fuck it. The tension that I had built is gone. This is bullshit, but clever bullshit.
You think that this could be a twist? And then another twist?
Yes.
That would be really interesting. And it'd be interesting to see if and how they could get out of that, if at all. So there's 6 people left, Gus.
Yeah. Have not seen Thresh for a second.
You haven't seen Thresh for a second. We've seen Foxface.
Katniss gets a bad vibe.
We have seen... Could this be the Flare, Gus?
Honestly, yes, she could be. There needs to be one. It's Cato, but there needs to be one.
Then we've got Clove and Cato.
Fuck them. Yes, the nuance. Yes, I know, but also fuck them.
So, question, Gus. What order do you think they go out in?
How many pages are left? Hold on.
And how? I want your predictions. You know these people pretty decently at this point, right? What is the order and how do you think they go out?
Someone gets poisoned. Someone has to get poisoned. But the only person who could realistically poison someone else, in my opinion, is still Peeta.
Why?
Because nobody is going to trust anybody else unless they are on a team with them.
Okay.
I don't see Clove or Cato betraying the other. Cato would just choke her to death in her sleep.
You think he would do that?
Yes, if he had to.
Okay.
I don't think he will now because I don't think...
So do you think Peeta poisons somebody?
I think Peeta could poison Katniss.
You think Peeta could poison Katniss?
He could if he also believes that this is bullshit. Or if it turns out that this is bullshit. Okay,
so he's like metagaming and realizes that this is probably bullshit and poisons
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. That's too complicated. So what also could happen is they're like, no, we're not going to kill each other. You have changed the rules again and said you have to kill each other. We're not going to kill each other. And then he gives her poison. But I don't think that's what's going to...
He gives her poison?
Yes. Because he knows he would lose because she would just shoot him.
Okay, so he poisons her to win the Hunger Games.
If he were faced with the choice of...
Does she fall for it? Does she eat it? Does she die?
She doesn't die, no. Because,
okay. So he does it wrong somehow where she notices?
Or it's some kind of Romeo and Juliet style, your heart goes really... I don't fucking know. I'm making this way more complicated than it actually has to be. I just think somebody has to get poisoned. And I can't see anybody else... Well, realistically, I guess Foxface could poison some, but nobody else has food. Nobody else has enough food they're leaving out.
Uh-huh.
So she's sneaky.
Unless there's a feast later.
If there's a feast, yeah, Foxface would get there first and poison the food.
That would be smart.
Yeah, if there is a feast, which I suppose now that we've mentioned it, there has to be one this book because her plotting is so fucking tight. Her plotting's really tight. And I don't think that we're just gonna... I don't think the next two books are gonna be, it's another Hunger Games, because I don't think that's nearly as interesting.
So you think that there's probably going to be a feast. Is there any other like loose ends that she's mentioned that you think might come back?
Peeta got cut. That has to be important.
Sure, probably.
Loose end. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, because Peeta might be injured. Mm-hmm. And do you think, theoretically he could be getting sponsorship stuff, or maybe he's not.
No, I mean, if she got a bottle of ointment, he got bandages. Easily. Absolutely, he got bandages. Foxface got a knife handle and a pot. I don't know how that would matter unless she makes hemlock tea or something. Yeah, that could happen. She could make like a poison tea and leave it on the table at the feast and then leave.
Who do you think would die from that?
Well, realistically, Cato probably is a fucking idiot.
So you think... So in the order of who goes...
I think that Katniss is going to cross path with Thresh first.
Okay.
And I think that there's going to be a lot of tension there because, it's the final six and they know they have to kill each other, but also she's going to feel bad about Rue. So there's going to be a lot of that. That would make sense. So
you think that she won't kill him, like maybe consider killing him and not do it?
That's possible. She won't want to.
Well, it would be kind of shitty to then murder...
Eat the bread and then...
the bread and then murder the guy.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But if she does kill him, I think it would be purely in self-defense.
So you think he could attack her?
I think he absolutely would. Why would he not? He doesn't know what's happened.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think there'll be some kind of conflict there about Rue? Some kind of
conflict there.
Okay.
That will be complicated on her side because of Rue. I think she'll meet up with Peeta. I think there'll be a feast. I think Foxface will get to the feast first.
So you think Katniss will kill Thresh?
I just don't want her to.
Make wild guesses. So for funsies. So Katniss and Thresh maybe have a moment about Rue.
It would be interesting if they moved off. If they had a moment and then parted ways.
Oh, okay. So you think he's like, "Hey, thanks," and leaves?
I don't think it's likely. That's what I want to have happen.
So so that would be ideally.
If she goes, happens. I'm not fighting you. That's what I want to have. I'm not fighting you. I saw what happened to her. I'm not fighting you.
I bonded with Rue. I bonded with your people. Yeah. I'm not gonna then kill their son.
Yeah. And it's possible that he is like, I don't care, then I'm going to kill you, but I don't think... He seems pretty anti-establishment himself.
Well, he did join up with the careers, even though he's built as fuck.
As far as we know, he hasn't killed anyone unless he killed the guy with from District 10.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is accounted for.
Right. So he's been hiding out somewhere,
presumably,
just hanging out.
Probably in the trees. But then she'll meet up with... Oh, he could get poisoned. She'll meet up with Peeta. Like, what's going to happen is there's going to be a feast. Someone's going to poison the feast. Probably Foxface. She seems clever.
She's smart. Right? Katniss has said it many times. She's got her hackles up about Foxface because Foxface seems like she's way smarter than she.
Foxface will poison people. I think what might happen is Katniss or Peeta gets sick, and then the other one has to find some kind of antidote. I think that'd be dramatically interesting. I think Cato or Clove might die of it. Probably Clove, because Cato, there has to be a climactic face-off with Cato later on.
Yeah, that it does seem like he and Katniss
he's the big guy.
Are circling each other, right?
So I think Thresh could then die if he and Katniss don't get in a fight and he doesn't die from poison. I think maybe he intercepts Cato after Clove is killed by poison.
Okay.
And it looks like Cato is gonna fight Katniss, and then Thresh intervenes somehow, and then he gets killed by Cato, and then Katniss and or Peeta have to fight Cato, and that obviously they're not gonna die to Cato. And then it's Katniss and Peeta, and then Claudius fuckboy is like, now fight to the death. And they go, no, I won't.
I like that.
I think
that's well plotted of you guys.
Yeah, well, sure, but it might be a little...
Oh, who kills Foxface?
Nobody. She wins. I had completely forgot about Foxface.
Yeah, as does Katniss constantly.
Yeah.
She's got to die somewhere in there. Probably
Falls out of a tree.
She just dies randomly.
She just dies to human error.
Human error kills her.
Yeah. She just trips and falls.
Wow. That would be kind of funny in a way.
She just
because she's like the smartest one, and she just dies due to human error.
But maybe an animal kills her.
An animal.
You know, we don't know her name. Her name's fucking Foxface. She could die
mauled to
randomly.
death by foxes,
She
and
could.
then it becomes ironic.
Yeah, why not?
So some kind of glitch happens in who Katniss thinks is the smartest person there, and she dies because of human error.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
How much can I read?
Ooh, let's see.
It has been so long. Can I finish it? I want to.
I know you do. I'm apparently against men's literacy.
That's okay.
We'll have you read to, I'm thinking of a specific moment. Sorry.
So not the whole thing. Damn it.
Hold on.
Can it be the end of a chapter?
Yeah, and I think it is. We'll go page 330.
What chapter is
End
that?
of chapter 24.
End of chapter 24.
And then we'll do the last little, so it'll be 19 through 24.
That's pretty good.
And then we'll do the last little bit in our final episode.
All right. Ah.
That's a lot.
I know, but I want to finish it. This is
gonna be
fun.
I have to work on this thing. I'm going to be up all night.
Me too.
It's all right.
I'll be editing this podcast.
But you know what? We'll be working all night together.
It's good. Do you want me to do the outro, or do you know how to do the outro? Have you memorized it yet?
Let me try.
Give it a shot.
And then you can take over when I fuck it up.
I trust you.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been Wheel Takes. We have a podcast. What?
I love you.
Hold on. We have the outros are so hard. Okay, we have if you want to...
We have social media.
Fucking fuck.
If you want to know what we've got going on.
Fucking guy.
We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes, and you can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps a lot.
Anything else, Gus?
The poison for Cato. The poison specifically designed to kill Cato. Cato's poison. Yes, that poison.
That's that poison. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.